Hello everybody and welcome to my Should I on This War of Mine. This War of Mine is a game developed by 11-Bit Studios, which you might know from the very famous Anomaly series, which I personally enjoy too, though only up to a certain point because I very much suck at these kinds of games. When I saw this War of Mine, I was very intrigued, really wanted to give it a try. However, this first impressions video, this Should I, will be a bit different than the usual ones that I do. So first of all, yeah, you see the main menu, very simplistic, and you will see a button called War Child. Now I hope my capture is able to capture this, so you have a donation page, which I find very interesting considering that the topic of the video game, this War of Mine, is obviously war. Along with the tagline, you're something like not being a soldier in a war. I just seem to have forgotten it. Yeah. Very interesting little fact here in the corner, very interesting link, but let's dive into the menu section first. Very simple, very basic, resolution, graphics quality. Not a big fan of this because it doesn't really tell you what it actually does. Now I can tell from the game that it's 3D rendered. The backgrounds, you use a different kind of filter, which is this one. We'll talk about it in a minute. And I really don't like this, like GFX quality, high or low, could be handled in a very different way, and I really don't get why they did it like this. Music volume, sound effects, nothing special about that. In general, you don't hear a lot of sound, so it's not too important. The pencil effect, I have it on soft. I will show you in game what it exactly does. I'm gonna try another try, start right from the beginning, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So, what exactly is this War of Mine? The idea is that not every person in a war is a soldier. So, you will also meet civilists, and you are in this case playing as a group of civilians. Did I say civilist? Sounds kind of fun. A civilian, a group of civilians that try to survive, and you take them through their daily routines, which are very basic and everything. So the reason why I start out at the beginning is because I suck at this game. Now I know that part of this is because I am bad at the game. I will admit that. However, on the other side, I have to say that I find the game a bit... It's absolutely not obvious what you're supposed to do. Now, on one side that can be positive, on the other side it could be negative, but I'm gonna get to that. So yeah, somewhat of a short description of what is going on. Yeah, there's a struggle for survival, etc, etc. You start out with different characters, so I've also had a woman. Her name was Julie, and she is a reporter. And they also sometimes start with different attributes, like slightly wounded, slightly sick. He has always been sick. Now I don't know if it's just part of the character, but from my experience, Bruno is a very sick man. Not like that, but yeah. I don't know if it's just part of the character or it's just incredible coincidence, but yeah. So the idea of the game is you try to survive your every day with your characters. You have these small containers that you can get items from, and they are randomized. So this is only the second time that I found a lockpick right at my home base, which is very useful to figure out, find more stuff at your very own home base. So what can you do? You can collect your materials over here, equipment, basic items. They're separated into different sections. Yeah. And you can improve your home base with different items. Like, first of all, I'm gonna need a bed because I want my guys to be healthy. Where could I put it? Like, not here. Yeah, let's just leave it here. It looks nice. I don't really know if it makes a difference where you put the items, except for the fact that they have to run larger distances to get there. So far I've played for several days, and like I said, I suck at this game. Like, I'm very bad, and sometimes I know it's my fault. Sometimes I really don't know what I should have done anyways. That is, and so far it's interesting because the premise, of course, is you are in a war, so you should feel helpless, and they implemented that very, very well. You generally feel helpless. More often than not, I will get to a situation where I don't have enough food for my survivors, and I will get to scavenge. So at nighttime you get to scavenge other buildings that are inhabited. Sometimes they aren't inhabited. You will find food and materials, etc., etc. So it's a survival game. However, it is very, you don't know too much about it's a very trial and error kind of game. So, for example, I can improve this here stove. I can turn it into an improved stove. So it says allows us to prepare cooked food more efficiently, saving fuel. Okay, that's a good explanation because that gives me enough information. But this one, like the regular workbench, tells me providing more sophisticated items and appliances. Like, I would love to have an actual list of items that I can build after constructing or after improving my my workbench, because I don't want to risk improving something that I might not need right now. And that is constantly the problem with this game, that you don't really know what is necessary and what is helpful for the future. So it is a very trial and error heavy game. And while that may not be bad, it is a bit unnerving to constantly struggle with what you're supposed to do because you don't know. And yes, it is supposed to be a war simulation. I get that. It makes absolute sense that you feel helpless. You really don't know what to do. But I've played, I couldn't tell you how many playthroughs I started, and I always got to a point where I just couldn't progress because I really didn't know what risks to take, and I took different kinds of risks. I tried stealing one time, and I will get to that in a second, and I tried being peaceful, I tried bartering, but I always got to a point where I just couldn't, like, my people just died, and it's a bit depressing. So, like I said, here you have the time, and at 8 o'clock it will change to nighttime. It's when I can send one of my crew to scavenge, while the other two one can sleep, the other one will guard the place, or both can guard the place. However you want to organize it. Now, the game is very much a roguelike, or it has roguelike elements at the very least. So every time you start the game anew, things will randomly regenerate in different ways. So the buildings that I can scavenge, that I can explore, are predetermined, but the content of said buildings isn't, from what I have seen so far. You can also take equipment and valuables and whatever to barter and everything. So the system is very, very, very well made. However, I find the lack of feedback a bit annoying, because unless I do something and I screw up, I don't know. Oh, that was like this. Like, I didn't know. Okay, I wasted a lockpick and I got this. Okay, I only got some water, which is definitely not worth a whole lockpick. That's a risk I took. Okay, that's good decision making. Like, that's the way a game should be. Okay, you have to take a risk and everything, but sometimes the risks are too high. I'm gonna send Marco to scavenge this time because he has the most inventory space to carry things around, and I'm gonna send him somewhere where it's not dangerous. So my guys need food. Okay, we may find some useful stuff here without meeting anyone, so there are no people here. That is good to know in advance because it changes some things for me. Like I don't have to carry a weapon. I don't have to I don't have to worry about stuff like that. Like this is that is useful information. But like I said, more often than not, you don't know when or what to improve, and even if you improve it too early, you lack the material to improve something else or that you may need. So it's it's trial and error. I don't need that much material right now. I really don't know. So it's in general it's trial and error, just figuring out stuff for yourself or looking it up online. And I'm not a big fan of doing that. Games shouldn't rely on a Wikipedia page for them to actually work. I remember playing La Mulana and I had lots of fun. However, I finished the game only because of the online Wikipedia page that helped me out with lots of parts. I remember playing Don't Starve. Okay, these are more helpful than this. Okay, like these decisions. Great. That's great because I really have to worry about what should I bring with me, what is more important, what is more helpful. I know that this will be blocked with a lockpick, so I'm not gonna waste my time with this, like stuff like that. Okay, that is very cool. But I stumbled upon too many situations where I really didn't know. Okay, what are you expecting of me? I get the idea. Okay, this is wartime. You would be helpless. Maybe that's what they wanted to show you, but I can imagine people that this game turns into very, very organized, very structured. Okay, at this day you do this, at this day you do this. You need materials for this and that. So everything is very organized. It doesn't. It feels a bit of its reality that it is a wartime simulator. So yeah, that's the problem that you will have with any game. But the fact that I more often than not just have to accept that my people are going to die because I screwed up horribly, yeah, it's realistic. I get that. It's just a bit annoying. I really don't like it. No, that's not true. Okay, correct myself. I like it, but it is sometimes a bit too hard. Like I would have loved an easy mode for this where they actually explain something. Another thing that bothers me is that you don't have too many keyboard commands. So I haven't found too many shortcuts, and the menu doesn't show me any. So like you saw earlier, and while I'm here I can show you the pencil effect. If you want to like scroll back and see how the background looks, I'm gonna change it now, and if it's sketchy, it's a lot more distinguished. The lines are a lot more distinguished. I find it a bit distracting, which is why I turned it down to soft. I would love to turn it off completely, but I guess that's part of the allure of the game. It looks good. It's not stunning, it's not great, but it looks good. However, if you hear I'm mashing the keyboard like crazy and nothing happens, because from what I've seen there are no shortcuts to the game. Like I would love to instantly switch between my fists and my scavenge ability, because the fists are the only way for me to be able to attack somebody, to stealth kill somebody, for example. Oh, valuables, that's great. That's very useful. Very useful. Very good for bartering. Currently I can't use vegetables, so I won't take them with me. Weapon parts. I could use a knife. Do I already? Okay, nope. Herbs, I can't make something out of these as well, or either. Can't help. Okay, so yeah, this is... Actually, I can't use sugar either, so I'm gonna take this and that. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe it's just me. In all honesty, I couldn't tell you. Maybe it is me that really isn't able to figure... that I'm not able to figure this game out. Okay, maybe that's not my kind of game. I've had fun. However, I find some things lacking. The lack of feedback in some cases, or the fact that there are no keyboard shortcuts. I would love to switch between my characters specifically. However, I have to press tab to change between my characters instead of pressing 1, 2, 3, where I could say, okay. Oh, you're right. One of you guys was sick. So instead of pressing 1, 2, 3, I have to press tab. And yeah, it's not horrible. However, it is a bit. It's not necessary. Also, they could have color-coded the characters a bit more, make them more distinguished, because against the gray backgrounds, as you are seeing right now, they, at a high distance, they can very much look the same. So more often than not, you accidentally use the wrong character. Now I'm gonna send him to cook something. I'm gonna need nope, not that. And that's basically the game. You try to survive, you try you try to survive and just improve your home base. Try to make sure that you don't get scavenged yourself, you don't get looters here that try to kill you or steal your stuff, which may basically end up being the same. That's all good and all cool, but it feels more like a Sims-based game. Sorry, one of the few buttons, keyboard buttons that actually works. So it feels more like a Sims game with war as a theme. Yes, I feel helpless, but that is not because the game. Yes, it is because the game makes me feel helpless, but it's also because I feel like I'm not in control. Yeah, maybe that's really what they were going for. I hope that it is what they were going for, because otherwise the lack of interface and some things is just a bit annoying. The fact that I can only control my characters via clicking instead of just at least being able to move them directly with the keyboard. It's not horrible, it's just I would have enjoyed it, I would have liked it a bit more if it felt more, maneuverable. Now, if you are into survival games, for example, Don't Starve, or... well, this is more Don't Starve than it is Minecraft. So, yeah. To be honest, while I'm talking about Don't Starve, I sucked at Don't Starve as well. Like, I was really bad, up to a point where I just stopped playing it because I couldn't progress and I really didn't want to look up online what I'm supposed to do. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's my pride stopping me from getting help with stuff like that. I did it for La Mulana, and that annoyed me more with myself than with the game, because the game can be pretty obvious, so you really have to use your brain. But here you don't have to use your brain, you just have to try and try and try again, and maybe have some luck. Maybe being lucky you will survive the next attack of looters and the next scavenging mission. Do I recommend the game? If you are into this genre, yeah. For me, personally, no, to be honest. Which I find sad, because I would love to have more fun with this game, and mechanically it is very well executed. However, like I said, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing most of the time, and these sections, the daytime sections, sometimes feel just simply boring, because I can end the day early. I'm gonna take one of these, build one of these. I can end the day early, that would be no problem. However, I want, for example, in this case, maybe not, but in general, what I do is I have two characters that are tired, because one was on guard duty and the other one was scavenging. And what happens is that, oh, thank you, Payday 2. And what happens is that the character will, that I will have to wait for the other guy to finish sleeping before I can send the other guy to bed. Now, of course, like I said, this makes sense, wartime situation, etc., feeling helpless, micromanagement, etc. But I would love to at least get some improve the speed on the make the time fly by faster. It's just small details like that. Okay, now I can send this guy. Oh no, he slept already, so he won't. You don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I could send him to go to sleep, and when when he's next to the bed, he will tell me, "Oh, I'm not tired." So he could have told me that over while he was upstairs. Oh no, he doesn't. Okay, I had a character tell me that she was not tired, because she had slept poorly. It's because he's slightly wounded. That's why he wants to go to bed. That's why he wants to go to bed. That explains a lot, actually. So yeah. I'm not even gonna force you to do see the later gameplay because I don't make it very far. But I can show you maybe a bit more a dangerous situation. Let's try this out. But it is basically the same. So you go there, you scavenge, you try to find as much stuff as possible, and maybe you're lucky and find some good things, and maybe you are not lucky and one of you guys die. One of your guys dies because you screwed up, which happened to me every time that I've played this game, and I've played it for quite a while. Now the game is out now on Steam for €18.99 or $19, 19 euros, or your original equivalent. It is very, very fun. It is very interesting, but you have to really be able to get into these kinds. Welcome, we have been wrong. This is one aspect that I wanted to mention earlier. I forgot about it, and I'm gonna do this real quick. So I usually have no problem distinguishing between reality and video games. However, I remember robbing a family, an elderly couple, and I felt, okay, this area is locked. No, I'm gonna try to get in there. And I felt really bad. Like I robbed the old guys, and I only stole 3 food because my guys were really hungry. But I felt really bad. So this is something that really got to me. Like I don't usually let games get to me. Oh no, I can't unboard it, unblock it. I don't usually let video games really get to me, but for that moment I really felt bad, and my characters got sad because of it. So yeah, it is great for very personal storytelling, and it's an interesting game. I'm just really bad at it, and I wish I weren't. Maybe I do have to spend more time with it, and maybe I will look up a wiki. So that's it for me. You guys go play some video games, have a great day, and see you soon.